Hi there, I'm excited to share that the new connector between Gavel and Make.com is now available and you can use it starting today completely free of charge. If you're not familiar with Gavel, it's a document automation platform that allows you to build easy to follow online forms and then generate templated documents based on the responses to those forms. You can use it internally or actually as a form for your clients to fill out and then generate documents based on that. Meanwhile, Make.com is an automation platform that helps connect all the different apps that you may already be using on a daily basis together. It's similar to Zapier, but it's actually more flexible and costs less to run. With it, you'll be able to build scenarios such as when a lead is updated in your CRM, send them a workflow, for example, in Gavel, or when a Gavel workflow is completed, update your case management system such as Clio Manage. Let's now see the capabilities of this new connector. With it, you'll be able to first of all get notified whenever a new workflow session is completed. You'll then be able to download as well the documents generated from that workflow session and get all the data from the responses and update your other systems. You'll be able to create a workflow session with some already pre-populated data and then either send that link to finish off the workflow to your team member or your client, or actually, if you filled out all of the fields, immediately download the generated documents and upload them to your case management system or to any other system that you're using. There are also some other actions such as getting information about different workflows, listing all the workflows under your account, and listing as well all the documents under an existing session. I'll now show you how you can install this new connector on your Make.com account. This will just take a few steps. In less than 2 minutes, you'll be up and running. And then I'll also show you some of the usual use cases that you may see with this connector and how you can apply it to your new scenarios. The first step would be going to the installation link located below this video. After this, you'll be asked to sign in Make if you're not signed in already. You'll land then on this page, click Install. It will then ask you to which organization you want to install this app. Make sure that you have the owner, admin, or app developer role to do that. Click Install. Click Finish. And just like that, the app is already installed, and then you can now use it just as any other app on Make.com in any of your scenarios. I have created a test scenario over here. Let's now see how can we connect your Make account now to your Gavel account. So go into any new or existing scenario, click the plus icon to add a new module, and then just search up Gavel. As you'll see, the options now pop up. It has this invited status, and you're able to add any of these modules. So let's now add this one, for example, create workflow session with data, and will be prompted to create a connection. Click that. You can name it whatever you want. And then you'll need an API key that is located in your Gavel account. So to do that, go to your Gavel dashboard, Settings, API keys, and then come into here, type in, for example, Make, let's say Make 2 because I already have one, create a key. You'll need then to copy this API key, go back to Make, paste it over here. And then the other piece of information that we'll need is your domain. So you're able to locate that. If you go to your Gavel dashboard, you'll see that in the URL over here at the top, it's chromium.gavel.io in my case. So chromium will be the value that we'll need to put into the second field over here, chromium. Click Save. And just like that, it will authenticate the connection, and we'll be able to start using our modules. Let's now have a look at a common use case, creating a workflow session to then send a pre-populated session link to your client to fill out, or to one of your staff members, or if you have filled out all the fields, actually downloading the documents and passing them onto another system. So for that, the first step would be this module over here, create workflow session with data. You'll be able to select one of the workflows that you have already defined under your account. So in this case, I will use this Gavel demo fee agreement. And then it will load, once you select the workflow, it will load all the fields available in that workflow. So let's fill some of them out and see what happens when we run the module. I have populated now some of the fields, not all of them, which will mean that the documents will not be generated yet. Instead, we'll get a session link, which we'll be able to then finish completing the form. So let's click OK and then run this module. As you can see, we get this continuation URL in the output and also a session ID. Let's follow this new link. And what you will see is that if we go back, all of the information that we have input into the make module has already been pre-filled. We can then continue on with the form. And once we fill it out, finish it over, review, we'll land then on the page of the with the generated documents, which again we'll be able to email or download to our computer. Now, what should we do if we actually want to straight away generate the documents inside of our make scenario and then pass them on to another system? For that, we'll need to make sure that all of the fields in the form are filled in. I have filled in the extra fields, and you may now ask what happens if I don't have information about some of the fields, but I still want to generate the document. In that case, what you need to do is simply fill out those fields with this null value. If you click over here, in general functions, over here, you have this null keyword, which you just put in here, and that will treat the Gavel system will treat it as a field-in value. It will display as none in the generated document, but will then let you generate the actual document. After that, you're also able to select if you want to skip the review page or not on the continuation URL. Let's click OK. Once we run this, we'll get the same output as before, but as well what you'll notice is that the actual run-in time will be a bit larger because in the background, again, Gavel is already generating those documents. Again, we'll get the continuation URL and the session ID. And now to retrieve those documents from Gavel, we'll need to do a few steps. First of all, we'll need to use this module called list documents from an existing session. And there is an important note here saying that, again, you need to make sure that you have filled out all of the fields in order for these documents actually to be available. You'll need to choose a workflow and also then session ID, which we can then pass from the previous module. So let's click OK. Let's run this and see what happens. This for now won't actually download the contents of the documents. It will just display a list of the documents available. And as you can see, we have these two documents, one being a PDF version, another one being the docx version of our template. And we also have this download URL. The next step into the process is then actually downloading the contents of these documents. Let's add another module for that. Again, Gavel, download a document. In here, in the download URL, we're going to pass the download URL fields coming from the previous module. Click OK. What will happen as well is for every document that has been generated, it comes in a separate bundle, which means that any steps after this module will be executed once for each one of those bundles, for each one of those files. So we will download the documents one by one. Now, just download it into Make won't make much use. We'll actually need to interact with some other system, upload it to your case management practice, upload it to Google Drive, send it in an email. So let's actually then also add another step to uploading this generated file to Google Drive in this case. I have added this upload a file Google Drive module. I have selected the destination folder, and I have then also selected this file, which is already Make understands that we're going to be getting the file from this module. So you can just select it here directly. If you want to do a custom file name, you can also do so here if you choose the map option. Let's stick with the basics. So just select the predefined option. Let's save this. Let's just make sure that this is all correct. All right, save anyway. And that now let's run it and see how those documents are uploaded to Google Drive. Take some time for it to generate. The document is downloaded, and as you can see, these modules run twice because we have two documents coming from here. And if we now go to our Google Drive folder, download document module, let's refresh. Oh, there you go. We have both of them over here, the docx and the PDF. If we will open it up, we will see that we have these values that we have pre-filled. We have as well the address of the client. And as you can remember, we had some of those fields that were marked as null. If they're displayed in the template and are not hidden by some conditional logic, they'll simply display as none, as you can see over here. And the same obviously for the docx version. Another common use case that you may encounter is actually being able to listen to any new submissions, be that done by your team, by the automation, or by your client, and then retrieving the data that you got from those responses, and also retrieving the documents, the generated documents that you got from those responses. So for that, we can implement webhooks. We'll need to, again, search for Gavel. Workflow session completed trigger, which again will be instant as soon as the workflow session is completed inside of Gavel. You need to click this button, create a webhook. You can name it as well, whatever you want. There will be some instructions in terms of how you need to add that webhook to your Gavel account, but I will show you now in the video. Just click Save. Make will now generate a link for you to copy. So copy that link. Go to your Gavel dashboard. Go to your workflow list. Enter into the workflow that you want to enable this webhook or this automation for. Navigate to the settings section, then integrations, and then here in webhooks, click new webhook. You can name it as well, whatever you want. Paste the webhook URL that you got, or that you copied from Make, and then you also have the option to either include the generated documents or not. Don't worry about this configure headers option, and just click create. The webhook is now added, and so whenever a new workflow session is completed in here, the webhook in Make will be notified. After this is done, click OK, and we can now activate our scenario and wait for new submissions. I will simulate essentially a new submission by running this module over here that we already previously built. Again, webhooks will also be triggered for any of these automation related completions. So let's run it. And in just a second, as you see, we got the event coming into Make. We have two main sections over here. First of all, we have all the data, which will have the variables, the variable names that you have available in the form and their respective values. And then we'll also have this files section over here, compress and zip. It will contain the data of all the files generated for that workflow session, again, compressed in the zip. So you can obviously take the zip and then upload it to wherever you want, but what if you want the actual files, right? We can also make that happen. What you need to do for that is search for this archive tool, click show more, and then extract an archive. Extract files from a zip archive. That's specifically what we are looking for. Again, it will already have pre-filled the information from the previous module, so just click OK. And again, this module will produce multiple bundles, essentially one for each of the files that is in the compressed folder. Again, we can then upload them to a case management system, send an email, or upload to Google Drive. Similar setup as before, you choose your destination, and now we have two options. We can either upload the zipped version, so just one file, or we can upload the extracted files from the archive module over here. Let's click OK. There we go. Click Save. And let's run it again and wait for new submissions and see how those files then uploaded to Google Drive. Again, I'll go back to my previous module over here and run it. As you have seen, pretty much instant, and the files are now being uploaded. Let's go to this other folder. As you can see, the files have appeared. And again, we have all the information with the client details, all the custom fields. Again, none for the deposits, and obviously the client information is all pre-filled over here. Just like that, we have the two main use cases that for this connector with Gavel and Make: creating a workflow session, pre-populating the data, either then sending that link to be completed by somebody else, or filling out all the fields and downloading the documents and then uploading them to another system of yours. And the other second use case, waiting for whenever a workflow session is completed, getting the data, getting the files, and again, uploading them, updating your other systems. If you have any issues with this integration, take note that it is not developed officially by Make. It's developed by us here at Automation for Lawyers. We are an agency helping boutique law firms streamline their operations with tech. If you have any issues, please submit the ticket over here. This link is available in each one of the modules. Put the information about your email, your name, describing the issue, uploading any of the supporting documents such as screenshots, and we'll get back to you to try to solve the issue ASAP. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this integration.